I don't want to skimp over the fact of how scary she was at one point when her hands were straight out and she was white and she floated across the floor.
Like gliding.
That was nuts. Hey everybody, welcome to Blood and Donuts. I'm Tony.
And I'm Chris. What's up out there, everybody?
Yeah, what's up? Here at the Blood and Donuts podcast, we start with an overview, facts, and our first impressions. Then Chris and I will give our donut rating, and after that, we will go for a scene-by-scene discussion that's full of spoilers. But don't you worry, kids. We always let you know before we do that. Chris, how does that donut rating work?
So we rate our movies on a scale of 1 to 13 donuts. A 1 through 4 is terrible, and we won't recommend that one to you. 5 through 8, you can watch it when you get a minute. It's not terrible, but it's not great. A 9 through 12 is great. You will definitely want to check out a 9 through 12. We recommend it, even if you need to rent it. And Tony, 13, that's our Baker's Dozen tier, and that's pretty rare. We would consider that a perfect horror film, maybe best of all time.
The Babadook from 2014, directed by Jennifer Kent. It's a psychological horror film about a widowed mother, Amelia, and her troubled young son, Samuel. They become haunted by a sinister presence from a mysterious children's book called Mr. Babadook.
And I got to say, when I was kind of looking up Jennifer Kent, I saw like a few of her movies that she's done. And one of them is a short called How the Duke Stole Christmas. And I kind of
was it D-O-O-K or D-U-K-E?
It was a apostrophe D-O-O-K. So like she shortened the Baba, put the apostrophe Duke, and How the Duke Stole Christmas.
The Babadook is back. That's hilarious. Man, that creepy pop-up book that you see in the movie, they say when they put out this movie, they created that for the production, and they sold several versions of it. And fans bought it up, so they kept doing limited editions, replicas, and all this stuff, and they kept selling out pretty quick.
That seems like something I would enjoy. These days, like that. I would love to have a Babadook book. And honestly, this movie too, revisiting it, I think I watched it when it first came out. I think we probably both did.
Oh yeah,
separately. I don't think we watched it together or anything. But all I can remember is the kid and how the kid was just screaming, constantly. I definitely have some different opinions after rewatching it, these days. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But interesting. But I love the just the style it was shot in. It was very at times trippy. It was very atmospheric, and really just pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
A lot of the viewers, I read, you told me that you find the child unbearable, but I read that a lot of the viewers had that same. They found the child unbearable, but the director said that's intentional. You're supposed to feel Amelia's exhaustion, which we will go through in the scene by scene discussion. But yes, he is the worst. He is awful. You want like half the time you're like, this child needs his ass whooped, is what you might be saying.
The Babadook needs to get him.
The Babadook needs to eat this little kid. It's so good. Anyway, along with films like Hereditary and The Witch of this era, The Babadook helped kick off this like elevated horror wave of the 2010s. It's horror that it blends artsy themes with dread, and they make a lot of money. Well, critics really like it. Still disturbs people, all without relying on cheap scares that we might have got into with horror before this era. I feel like it was a little bit more high art. You know what I mean? Like a little bit more complex, maybe better stories, and more complex and more depth than the other horror. This wasn't cheap scares.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot of. And we kind of just saw that a little bit with Weapons, where you can take a story at face value, but then when you dig into like why the director made it the way they did and what they were kind of getting their inspiration from, it really makes it a lot deeper of a movie. And that's definitely the case with this one as well. You can feel the mom's exhaustion, and she's just depressed, and
Yeah.
and then this monstrous kind of being is kind of lurking in the background.
Absolutely.
And if you take it just at first glance, you're not really going to get it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely even worth, I would say, a couple of watch throughs so you can kind of get all of the hidden symbolism. It's not like a Midsommar where there's a hidden face in the mountains or anything like that, but watching it through and you can kind of put together for some of the symbolism in there, I think is worth it.
Absolutely. And like movies like this and Hereditary and even Midsommar, like that deep watch, I don't always want that. You know what I mean? Like, so my question is like, this is a great movie and I will get to my review. I obviously want people to see this, but the rewatchability is a question because I'm not going to just put this on. And this isn't Freddy, this ain't a Nightmare on Elm Street 3. This isn't Halloween. You know what I mean? Like those cheap scares. I like those cheap scares. I like something I can watch, just put it on and just sit back and just enjoy it. You know what I mean? This isn't one of those films.
Yeah.
This film, it makes me anxious. And I think it's so well done. It's so well done that you feel the anxiety of this mother who is going through it, and it makes you hate the child, until it's very clever. It kind of turns it there at the end, which we will get to. But man, it's like, this is a hard watch because it's tense, and it takes a lot out of you. Like there were several times I paused it. I was like, I'm going to go get something to drink. Woo. This is woo. You know what I mean? Like it is a lot. It's a good watch, but I do gravitate to those cheap scares on the ones that are comfort food. I would much rather watch Halloween 4 to go to bed to, or just throw on Halloween 4 and just
I'm so glad to hear you say that.
Yeah.
You could throw on in Halloween 4 anytime and it'd be a good time.
Yeah, that's what
but it's also, I mean, we're gonna side rail this and go off on tangents, but I think that's okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to find those comfort food movies here recently. I would say modern, like the last one that I can really remember that we've at least reviewed was like Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat's a good one.
And you wouldn't think that it's a great one. But like these, you have to watch them to pick up on all of the things that the movie's about.
Maybe Terrifier.
You know what Halloween's about, and you know what maybe comfort food, and just you can hear her.
Some people like Terrifier is not just. It's not so layered where you're just like have to sit there and like, oh, so you know what I mean? You just watch Art, slash people up.
How did Art come back up after the autopsy room? How did he do that? But no, it is hard to find that comfort food. There's some out there. So there's some nuggets out there, but I agree. This one is not it. But I honestly don't think that is a movie's rewatchability or comfort food level should not prevent it from being a perfect movie. Just saying.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'm about to give it a perfect score, but that would be, that's one of the things that it shouldn't be just the end all be all. Now, this one's worth rewatching a few times to bear through it, just to kind of get everything, But after 2 or 3 times, you could probably be done with it.
I agree. What I was saying is the Lodge, Weapons, this. Mm-hmm. I feel like people watch these one time, one off, and then you're done with it. You know what I mean? Like, because you're not going to revisit it. I've watched The Exorcist 167 times. You know what I mean? I've watched Halloween however many times. Yeah. There's those horror movies that you put in over at Fright Night. I mean, how many times could you watch Fright Night? You know what I mean? These are good, fun horror films. You know what I mean? I'm just saying these version or whatever this is something that you just want to watch once or twice, and you're like, I'm gonna put that away for a long time. Because and the director, I mean, she did that on purpose. She traps you, and she makes you put yourself in this poor woman's.
And speaking of this, and speaking of this, the director Jennifer Kent, she said she holds the rights to the film. We will not be seeing a Babadook 2.
Thank God.
Because
don't
said
do that.
It's not that kind of film.
No, it's
not. It's not that way. It was never meant to be any kind of sequel. And you mentioned The Exorcist. William Friedkin director of The Exorcist, said that this is the most terrifying film he's ever seen.
Man.
And that's just really saying something. That's one of those nuggets that if you hear that, you put that on your fridge and you put that on your resume. Like, hey, William Friedkin said that, he loved my movie the most.
Hey, that's a really high mark that's crazy. I would hold that as well. How about Essie Davis absolutely committing this physical transformation that she had in the final act from, the voice, the posture, the screaming. It's so disturbing, and because it feels real, Yeah.
Her in the window on the news report we'll talk about in a little bit, where she's hallucinating.
Yeah, it's
nuts. So creepy.
Yeah, that's nuts. She's almost scarier than the Babadook.
At times she is.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about it here in a little bit in my review, but really most of the acting is done by two people.
Yeah.
And they carry the weight of it.
That kid's great.
And I think they both did a good job. Yeah.
And
he's not really in anything. I do the whole wormhole thing of a rabbit hole thing of looking to see what everybody's been in. And most of everybody's top thing, and this one is the Babadook. They don't really, they have other works and other pieces that they do, but this is still their top known. So
this is, this film, I remember when it came out, everybody's like, have you seen the Babadook? You know what I mean? And I remember, I remember it having an effect on me, and just a crazy film. And again, it's not what you think it is. It's not just the monster, and it's so much deeper than that. And to the point where you get to the end of the film and you feel relief. You're sitting there like you feel like a weight has been lifted. You're like, there's a weight off my shoulders, man. Like, because you've been carrying this whole grief with her, through this whole thing.
Yeah. When you watched it when we were younger or whatever, I guess this was 12 years ago.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on it then? Were you just like, oh man, that kid's super annoying? Or were you like, oh man, that was an awesome film. It's really deep.
I didn't think it was deep. I was probably just watching, scary monster, whatever, there at the end. I don't think I really thought about the layers. I feel like now that I'm 40 years old watching it, I'm like, it's a whole different ballgame.
And we actually have to provide depth. We can't just say, "Ooh, the acting was good and the monster was scary." That was it. But we actually have to find all the meanings to these movies. You
got to write a book report. Yeah, you have to write a book report after every movie. The house feels like a coffin. Her life feels like a prison. Every room is suffocating. The muted colors and tight framing make you feel trapped right alongside her. I love this film. And I'll be honest, I started to despise the child just like you did, Chris. He's loud, chaotic, exhausting, but that's the genius of this storytelling. In a clever shift, the film slowly turns him into the hero and forces you to see the mother for who she really is, a woman drowning in grief and unresolved trauma. You realize the true source of this anxiety isn't just the child or the Babadook, and I'm spoiling it a little bit. It's her inability to confront what's inside of her. The horror imagery is fantastic, shadowy, unsettling, almost storybook in a nightmare kind of way. But what lingers is the emotional horror. This isn't just a monster movie. It's about depression, resentment, and learning to live with your own inner demons instead of pretending that they don't exist. It's thoughtful, disturbing, powerful. I highly recommend it to anyone who likes horror with some depth to it. I give it a 12 out of 13, Chris, for the Babadook.
12, Tony. That's really high. Dude.
That's a little high.
That's almost a 13. That's high, man.
I thought it's a great film.
No, I think you're right. And I can screenshot this too, but let me get into this. So this is a movie that, like I said, if you look at it at first glance, it's pretty annoying. There's an annoying kid and a cool monster, but if you dive deeper, there's a lot more meaning behind the monster with symbolism and the metaphors. Turns the Babadook into a much more interesting film for me. I think that the style it's shot in was really cool. Like the cinematography, like you first see her kind of in this, what looks to be a car crash, and then she just falls on the bed, and then her kid wakes her up. So it's really just the transitioning scenes and stuff. It's all really cool. It uses very minimal actors, and I don't mean that, you have Amelia as played by Essie Davis, and you have Samuel played by Noah Wiseman, and they carry like 80% of the workload for this movie.
Yeah.
And you got to say that they both knocked it out of the park. As grating as Samuel can be, the outward emotional acting that he has to do, where he's like having a seizure in the back seat of the car and stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Looks
Man,
so
like
good.
dude's
Yeah.
like 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah.
So the story behind it is really good. The atmosphere you mentioned is fantastic. It's really shadowy and dark. I love the Babadook as a monster, and I think you see him just enough. I think, for me, I'm like, I always want to see more of the monster. But then you really shouldn't sometimes. Movies like The Ritual and maybe even Sinister, they show you that bad guy just a little too much, and then it kind of wears off. This one showed the Babadook just the right amount. And so, all that being said, I'm actually going to go high here as well, and I'm also giving it, Tony, a 12 of 13. I could send you a screenshot. It's true.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We tied. I think it's one of a kind movie.
It is
with a good story and a great ending.
It is a one of a kind.
Very
movie.
Cool.
I agree.
Babadook.
It's a great horror movie, and we highly and Chris, the best thing about this movie, let's go ahead and say it. It's on Tubi right now, so our audience. Go to Tubi. It's for free. All you got to do is watch a couple ads, man. And so I am going to make it. I made it my New Year's resolution to start picking more movies that are on Tubi. So our audience, because there's some real gems on there. There's going to be some real stinkers too, but there's going to be some real gems. And that means that our audience doesn't have to pay the $5.99 to go watch these movies. You just go to Tubi and watch it. So go to Tubi. If you haven't seen The Babadook, we are about to spoil it. We're going to go into scene by scene discussion. So go watch it. Here come the spoils. Amelia is a troubled and exhausted widow living in Adelaide who has brought up her 6-year-old son, Samuel, alone. Her late husband, Oscar, was killed in a car accident that occurred as he drove Amelia to the hospital during labor. Sam begins displaying erratic behavior. He becomes an insomniac and is preoccupied with an imaginary monster, which he has built weapons to fight. Amelia is forced to pick up her son from school after Sam brings one of the weapons there.
Yeah, you hate that. Your kid brings weapon to school. But other than like bringing the weapon to school, this, the more I watched it, like the kid is just doing like normal kid stuff.
Yeah.
Like he wants ice cream for breakfast. He's kicking the back seat. He wants to go to the park. He's trying to climb as high as he can.
Yeah.
All that kind of fun stuff. So it's really, he is just, and I guess you said that the director really went for just making the kid just as annoying as possible. And it really works. Like you're just really like, dude, this kid is annoying. It's just because he's so loud.
Yeah, and he screams and
screaming. Yeah,
it's almost like he's very disturbed, and you have to say, like, you see like throughout the movie that she hasn't dealt with the death of her husband very well. She put it all down in the basement, locked it away, and nobody's allowed to talk about it. And nobody's allowed to mention it. And even when Samuel tries to talk about it, like my dad died on taking me on the day, the day I was born. She goes, Samuel, and she like he can't even tell that story, Yeah. So you kind of see like the reason he's acting out is because first off, he doesn't have a dad. Second off, his mom isn't well. And third off, like, I don't know, it's just a weird place that she's in where he's not allowed to be himself. And you notice, like, when he starts to touch her, hug her, stuff like that, she pushes him away, Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of caresses her, and then when he hugs her tight, she's like, okay, back off.
Yeah.
And it's really, like, even her sister, when they're at the park, she's like, hey, haven't you really need to get over it? And she's like, well, I am over it. I don't talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't mention it. I don't think about it.
Right.
So but really she should be doing those things to kind of get it out of her system, but she's not. She's just not talking about it at all, keeping it down in there. So if you keep down in your anger and anxiety, it's going to turn into a little Babadook.
Don't do that. Babadook. And so that's the big question here. The Babadook is this unresolved grief, right? This unresolved grief. But I also like to believe that it is a real monster because I love horror movies. I don't want this to be just unresolved grief. This is the freaking Babadook, and he's real, and he's in this movie, right? So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he's a real monster. But obviously the symbolism is there, and so when you see Samuel suffering with looking for monsters, always preparing for this monster that's going to show up, and then when he's sleeping, grinding his teeth, that was like really crazy. Like, you can see the grinding, and
he's like hugging his mom, he's like got his mom by the neck and stuff.
And he's kind of like choking her and stuff. Like, he's really like, this is really bothering him. He's a very troubled child,
Yeah.
One night, Sam asked his mother to read a pop-up storybook called Mr. Babadook. It describes the monster, the Babadook, a tall, pale-faced humanoid in a top hat with taloned fingers, which torments its victims after they become aware of its existence. Amelia is disturbed by the book and his mysterious appearance. While Sam becomes convinced that the Babadook is real, Sam's persistence about the Babadook leads Amelia to often have sleepless nights as she tries to comfort him.
I'll say, man, she's like really needs some sleep. And it's crazy to see that he's like super protective of his mom. It's almost like he can see that something's wrong with her and that she has this kind of just this grief in her.
Yeah.
And so he's really super protective of her. And so that's kind of some of the, it's almost like, you remember The Grudge or something where, the ghost is on this dude's shoulders the whole time and he can't see it, but other person can.
Yeah.
It's almost like that. Like, he can see that this is weighing her down. And he's like, I don't want you to die. I just want you to be alive. He goes, I love you.
Yeah. He's like, you look after me and I'll look after you. He can definitely see her depression. Like, he's like, don't let the Babadook in. And he kept saying that throughout the movie.
Yeah. And it's like, and it makes it like, it seems like it's annoying to her. But again, like I like, after I got home from work, I rewatched it. I was watching it again before we got on here. And I was like thinking like, dude, in between the moments of him screaming and kicking in the back seat, he's like stroking her cheek and like wanting her to, he's like saying he's going to protect her. So it's really a big contrast. So it's really cool to kind of watch that play out. But anyway.
But what you see in the first half of the movie really is you see Amelia struggling. She's having a hard time waking up to get to work on time. She's having to miss days. It makes it look like Samuel's bringing weapons to school. He gets kicked out of school. This has happened several times. Yeah. She's having to leave work to deal with this. She's dropping him off at his sister's house. And we'll probably describe that in the later synopsis of how he's not really good with his cousins either, and so he's not very pleasant to be around, and it's because of her and her not dealing with him properly. And her not dealing with herself or taking care of herself properly. And even at work, there's like a guy trying to like date her. And you could tell she's so far away from that,
Yeah. Like she's really not into it. But I mean, she's friendly and stuff, but she's really just like not picking up on the hints.
Yeah. And at the same
like he's interested in stuff.
And at the same time, she wants it because she'll sit in that parking garage and watch a couple make out at one point, and she's just sitting there staring.
Yeah, she watches like a romantic movie or something, and then she'll go upstairs, try
to pleasure herself. Like she wants.
I was gonna say Jill, but yeah, okay, Jill off. Anyway,
as you would if you were you're a single mom trying to make it. Soon after, strange events occur. Doors open, close mysteriously by themselves. Strange sounds are heard, and Amelia finds glass shards in her food. She attributes the events to Sam's behavior, but he blames the Babadook. Amelia rips up the book and disposes of it. At her birthday party, Sam's cousin Ruby bullies Sam for not having a father, in response to which he pushes her out of her treehouse. As a result, breaks her nose. Amelia's sister Claire admits she can't bear Sam, to which Amelia takes great offense. On the drive home, Sam has another vision of the Babadook and suffers a seizure, so Amelia gets some sedatives from the pediatrician.
And there's a lot to unpack there. This synopsis really kind of buttons up like 20 minutes of a movie into one sentence. But it skips over the part where the guy from work, I forget his name, but he's like, hey, you got a sick kid. Why don't you go home? I'll take your shift.
He's great.
She's like, wow, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
I like him.
And then she just goes off and like gets an ice cream and like walks around the mall and walks around the city. And it's really, it's in like this hazy dreamlike state.
Yeah.
And you can see that like this is kind of, she thinks this is what she needs. She wants to get away. But then at the end, it's like she watches two people kind of making out. Lady looks over, and then she snapped back into reality. And she looks down, and she's got like 10 missed phone calls from her sister trying to get her to come pick up her kid because he's talking about the Babadook over there.
Yeah.
So, but it's a cool visual effect of her finally getting a few minutes to herself.
Yeah.
But then really all this other crap's going on around her when she's just trying to go walk around the city having ice cream.
Yeah. And when she did, I was like, "Yeah, go take a few minutes to yourself." I was kind of like, "Yeah, you should." Let's talk.
Get some Dippin' Dots.
Let's go get some Dippin' Dots. And so it kind of glossed over that. First, I want to talk about the Babadook book itself. She opens it up and she starts reading that. It's a really cool, well illustrated pop-up book, very creepy. And so
I want a copy.
I do too. But anyway, it's like knock knock knock. And then he will call Babadook, Duke. And then like it got to this part where he was getting so scared and she was like, we don't need to be reading this. But then the camera work was so cool. It made it feel like you were her reading the rest of it real quick to see what was going on and what was going to happen. And then the book changes a little bit throughout the movie. It changes to add her more into it. And she looks at the back of the book. This is at the first point, and there's nothing in the back of it. You can't find a publisher or anything like that. She puts it up above like an armoire or something like that. And then it shows up again. So then she rips out the pages. Then it shows up at the front door again. So the question is there really even a book? I don't know.
That's a good one. It's hard to,
is there?
To think. I like when she goes to the cops later and they're like, she's like, oh, this somebody's stalking me, and they're like, oh, what do they do? And they're like, oh, he left this children's book.
So where's
the cop in the back goes?
So where's
the cop in the back like chuckles.
He like laughed a little bit. No,
he like looked back like, dude, don't do that right now. We'll laugh when she leaves.
Where's the book? Hey,
where's the book?
Everybody's Australian, so it's like. She tries to burn it at one point. So when there's glass shards in the food, Amelia probably did that, right?
That's hard to think about because like there's also cockroaches later. I mean, I don't think she did that.
Amelia's just seeing the cockroaches. So because when the people show up, she had pulled out the refrigerator. She goes, I was there was a hole back here, and then they showed the hole was patched up. There was no hole. And there was no cockroaches.
Right. So she was hallucinating that too.
Yeah.
But was she hallucinating the glass or no?
No, she might have put it in there. I mean, we've seen the end events. So
maybe.
But because she goes, what? She thinks it's Sam, and Sam goes, no, it's the Babadook. Like the Babadook is making you do this, Mom. Like you need to don't let him in, And then he fully takes her a little bit.
And then she's like, no, Sam, that's where you slung the slingshot into the glass and broke glass.
Oh, yeah.
There's the bowl.
There's that, too. But, yeah, his cousin was insufferable and the worst, and she was being so freaking mean to him, and he pushed her out of the little playhouse that they had, and she broke her nose, and the sister is just over it. She's like, I can't stand Sam. She's like, I can't stand your son. Can't stand to be around him,
I'm surprised Amelia actually stood up for him and was like, I can't believe you just said that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's true. Like he's insufferable because she's not a good parent. It's hard to say that. It's not like, I mean, I guess she has some trauma and some grief that she just hasn't gotten over.
Yeah.
But she's not taking care of herself, then she's also not taking care of Sam.
Yeah. He's my issue. Like she does take up for him several times. The principal says, the boy, and she says, his name is Samuel. Yeah. Don't call him the boy, The following morning, Amelia finds that Mr. Babadook book reassembled and on the front doorstep. New words taunt her by saying that the Babadook will become stronger if she continues to deny its existence, containing pop-ups of her killing their dog Bugsy, Sam, and then herself. Terrified, Amelia burns the book and then runs to the police station after a disturbing phone call. However, Amelia has no proof of the stalking, and when then she sees the Babadook suit hanging up behind the front desk, she leaves.
I like her whole house has like all these mannequins or statues or something,
Yes.
or it's like coat racks with the whole suit on them. Like,
Yeah.
take those down, dude. Because this movie also, I don't know if you were doing it too, but I was like looking in the background the whole time as well.
Oh, yeah.
There wasn't a lot of that, but you got like, ooh, like that hat and coat there hanging. That looks kind of like.
Did you see the?
What did you think of
I'm sorry.
the Babadook? Sorry, real quick. What did you think of the Babadook's appearance? Like, as far as, you know, the white face, the black lips, the claw looking hands, kind of when he was in those animations and things like that. What was your thoughts on? Because I know you didn't really like the Mr. Boogie's appearance. You know, what did you think of the Babadook?
I thought he looked good. I thought it was creepy enough. I did too. The best one was I feel like the neighbor, but when he was behind the neighbor. She was looking across the window, and he was sitting there, and it was based on a silent movie, a horror movie that they have several small frames of, but the film itself was destroyed, and I forgot the name of the movie, but yes, the and I can send it to you, but really cool.
I want to see that.
Yeah, it looks just like the Babadook, his appearance.
That's awesome.
And I'll probably pop it up on the YouTube video right here is where I'll do it. But
well, the coolest part of the movie for me was the book where she's flipping through, and then it shows her choking the dog. And it's got these pop up. You know, you can pull a lever or move a piece of paper, and it moves something in the book. That's all super cool. And then she kills the dog, kills Sam, and then slices her throat, and then the red comes out.
The red.
It was
paper.
A little hug me, I'm scared-esque.
Oh, it was so cool. That was so cool, dude. Hug me, I'm scared. Yeah, it looked just like it was perfect. I want that book 100%.
We didn't really talk about the CPS visit either.
Oh yeah.
You know, CPS comes over, and like every sentence just makes it worse.
Oh yeah.
Sam's like, I'm tired because of the drugs mom gave me, and it's like not drugs, just prescription medicine from the doctor.
Yeah.
And like she's like, can I get some water? And she's like, yeah, I'll take that. Sorry, this is a mess in here. We just had this cockroach infestation. And it's just every sentence she says just makes it worse.
Like right before
they're like, we must have caught you at a bad time.
They did, because before they showed up, she had seen cockroaches crawling up under her refrigerator. So she pulled her refrigerator out, pulled all the food out of it. It looked like all the dishes and everything. She was cleaning, just freaking cleaning the crap out. And then when they showed up to the kitchen, she goes, there's a hole right there, and it was gone completely. So it was just like this. Yeah. And like you said, mom likes me on these drugs or whatever it was, like whatever he said. It was not a good.
Make me really sleepy.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look. So it looked like he was about to be taken away. But they were like, "Here's my card. We will be back." You know. That night, Amelia tries to fall asleep and watches the Babadook open her bedroom door, crawl up the ceiling, and attack her. Since then, turns on all the lights in the house, falls asleep with Sam downstairs. After the attack, Amelia starts to become more isolated and shut in, becoming impatient, shouting at Samuel for disobeying her constantly, and having frequent visions of the Babadook once again. Her mental state slowly decays, and she exhibits erratic and violent behavior, including cutting the phone lines with a knife and then waving that same knife aggressively at Sam without realizing it. This devolves into disturbing hallucinations in which Amelia violently murders Sam.
And I love the hallucination where I think I touched on it earlier, but it's like a mother stabbed her son in a gruesome event. And then she pulled the cop gun. She pulled a knife on the cops, and they shot her dead. Mm-hmm. And then you can kind of see her in the background smiling, and then it zooms in on her
in the window,
and then it zooms in on her more. Like, and it's split up in between the zoom ins, and it works really well. It doesn't just focus on her all at once, but it kind of splits up her getting kind of closer to the camera. Very creepy. That was probably the creepiest part for me. She's got like a creepy look.
Oh man, it was so good there, and I loved when she like started like, if you're hungry, then why don't you just eat? You know what I mean? Like she started like going crazy on him, and where like you were just like you were kind of like, yeah, tell him, you know, you're. You were like, finally, the Babadook shows up. Finally, he gets the parent. The Babadook was the parent that this boy needed this whole time.
This man in the house now.
Right. No, I don't mean that.
But I love it when he said that though, and like I always pictured him coming back and be like, "Mom, I ate the shit, but I'm still really hungry."
But I'm still really hungry. That's so funny.
And it wasn't very good.
Poor Sam is just going through it. Like she was like, he was like, I'm starving. He was like, I haven't ate anything. And she didn't get him anything.
Yeah. And it's got these weird kind of flashbacks where like she wakes up and she's got a knife, and then she kind of looks over and sees the hallucination, and then she puts the knife back in the drawer. And one of the times she's like, the last thing she goes, I'll make sure nothing gets in this house. And then she like goes and locks the front door.
Oh man.
Shuts the windows and locks it. And I'm like, bitch, you mean to tell me you didn't have the windows and doors locked already?
Well, what were you doing?
How long have you been dealing with the Babadook already? And now you're just not going to lock the windows?
The kid sees that his mom is slowly losing it. And so he goes to the neighbor. He calls the neighbor to say, you know, they do have a sweet neighbor next door, this elderly lady with Parkinson's.
Oh yeah, Mrs. Roach.
Yeah, she's the best. And so he calls Mrs. Roach and he's like, "Hey, is it okay if we spend the night over there? We're having issues over here." And of course, the mom gets so mad at him. She goes, "I told you not to. You know how I'm going to keep you from doing that." And then she cuts the freaking phone lines. And am I jumping ahead there, or is that what we are?
No, that's all part of her
okay.
Like hallucination.
Yeah.
But another thing too, like what wakes her up is like she's sleeping, and then you just hear somebody scream, "There's somebody in the house!"
Oh
that
man,
kind of like jump scared me earlier. I was like, "Oh my gosh,
there's somebody in the house!"
Up out of bed.
That was nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she goes down there, and then she sees Sam on the phone, I think, and then that's when she goes off.
That's nuts. Did you like the Babadook on the ceiling? It was almost like a pop-up book type of thing.
Like where he was kind of skittering around.
Yeah,
and
it was kind of like
there.
Yeah.
I
mean, and then it like just
I thought that was
then went into her mouth, kind of like she was getting possessed. Shortly after these visions, Amelia sees an apparition of Oscar, who offers to return to her if she bring me the boy to him. Realizing that he is a creation of the Babadook, Amelia flees and is stalked through the house by the Babadook until it finally possesses her. Under its influence, she breaks Bugsy's neck and attempts to kill Sam, eventually luring her into the basement. Sam knocks her out, ties her up, and Amelia is awakened by Sam, who is terrified nearby.
And she goes, "I thought you were dead." Like, dude, he's been dead for 7 years. What are you talking about? This is obviously a hallucination. But and it's crazy. They actually really killed Bugsy.
Yes.
There's the end credits said only one dog was harmed during the making of this film. So R.I.P. Bugsy.
She a lot of times you don't want to hurt a character so much where they can't come back. And with Amelia, it's very hard when you kill your dog and then you the child abuse. You know what I mean? Like, I know you do. We do have a very nice ending here, but I think for a lot of people, it's like she's not that. It's like, you know what I mean? Like they might end
like
the movie
hands over to Bugsy's grave. Or
yeah,
something
that's what I'm saying. People are like, "Well, is she going to answer for the animal abuse or the child abuse at all?" And they're like, "No." They live happily ever
after. The CPS
after.
people are back, and they're like, "What happened to the dog that used to live here?"
Why? Yeah, where's that dog at? Why, Samuel? Why do you got bruises on your neck there?
Why are there cracks in the wall, and why can't we go in the basement? Is that a bowl of worms over there?
Does she need to answer for some of these atrocities?
I think so.
But maybe she gets a pass. Michael Myers gets a pass for killing a dog and eating several dogs throughout the Halloween franchise. But anyway, maybe Amelia.
Yeah, but he's not so easily as arrested as Amelia.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Her killing Bugsy. I can't believe that. When you see it, you're like, no. Is this really? No.
No.
Surely she'll wake up because she gets very, very hyper Babadooky, and then all of a sudden she like something will rein her in, and maybe it's a neighbor who comes by to lend a helping hand. That calms her down a little bit. Maybe it's Samuel touching her face. That calms her down a little bit, which kind of speaks to somebody who's manic, somebody who's depressed, who's going through something. Maybe there's little things that you could do to help them out, to help their state, and it's a lot of it's love, however corny that sounds, but like if somebody is not feeling very good and they see a smile and it just kind of like, absolutely. Oh man, it brightens their day back up. It could be something like that is what you're saying. Absolutely. And you're right, that stuff that kind of snaps her back into reality. When she tries to strangle, so now she's down in the basement. Samuel, obviously, it talks about this catapult backpack throughout the whole thing, where he can catapult a ball. He actually breaks a window. He has his he stabs her in the leg upstairs, which was great, and then she runs downstairs. And he catapults a ball into her face. Then he has a tripwire set up where he trips her, and then he hits her like as soon as she hits the ground. He was great, and you're just like, oh, so Samuel is the hero of this thing. And she's tied up when she wakes up, and she's like crazy. Her eyes are completely black. She's fully gone at this point. And Samuel is like, hey, I don't want you to die. I don't want anything to happen to you. And he gets a little bit close, and that's where this is right here. When she's trying to strangle him, he lovingly caresses her face, causing her to regurgitate this inky black substance, which seemingly expels the Babadook. When Sam reminds Amelia that you can't get rid of the Babadook, an unseen force drags him into Amelia's bedroom.
What is it?
You can't get rid of the Babadook.
After saving Sam, Amelia is forced by the Babadook to rewatch a vision of her husband's death. Furious, she confronts the Babadook, making the beast retreat into the basement as she locks the door behind it.
Well, I think I expelled the Babadook last week in Tunica, if you know what I'm saying.
That's the truth.
A little too much. But no, it's good to see that she takes up for Samuel again here in the room as the monster's kind of coming. She's like, you're not real. And then he kind of drags, tries to suck up Samuel again. She finally gets a hold of him, and then she's like, this is my house. This is my property or something. And
you're not welcome here.
Yeah, not welcome here. And then it's like he seemingly like scampers down the. They don't really show it because I was kind of looking.
It kind of
it's just like
weakens
some
him.
Shoddy camera work.
Yeah. It weakens him a little bit.
It just shows the camera bouncing down the stairs, and then it locks himself in the basement. And it's like, oh, you didn't get to see him.
It's almost like the Babadook. Again, like we've said, it's her unresolved grief. And it's kind of like, hey, and like Samuel said, you can't get rid of it. It's always going to be there, but you need to own it, and you need to overpower it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just pretend it's not there, because it will consume you eventually, and you'll go crazy. So you have to own it. You have to rule over it, and that's kind of what she did here. I don't want to skimp over the fact of how scary she was at one point when her hands were straight out and she was white and she floated across the floor.
Like gliding.
That was nuts. That's where I was like, she looks creepier than the freaking Babadook, but some of her screams were nuts as well. Like, she had some blood curdling screams that were, I don't know if they were hers personally, but they were very intense.
Yeah.
After
really well done.
Yeah, very well done. After this ordeal, Amelia and Sam manage to recover. Amelia is attentive and caring towards him, encouraging him to building his weapons again and being impressed at Sam's magic trick. They gather earthworms in a bowl, and Amelia takes them to the basement where the Babadook resides. She places the bowl on the floor for the Babadook to eat. However, the beast tries to attack her. Amelia calms it down, and it retreats to the corner, taking the earthworms with it. With the Babadook defeated and contained, Amelia returns to the yard to celebrate Sam's birthday, and Sam does a magic trick where he shows a white dove during his magic trick there.
Yeah, that's thanks for cleaning up that last part.
Yeah.
But I know that you love nothing more than a good ending to a horror movie. You don't like those ambiguous endings. You just love where everybody lives happily ever after.
This is a great.
And I guess she just keeps her depression and anxiety in the basement and feeds it worms occasionally. So that's new. And you could see that there was like 5 locks on the door now. Like,
yes,
she's got like 5 locks at the top of that door.
You have to. Well, so on just the movie, on like just the fun horror movie that this is, it's a demon. It's a real demon. It's the Babadook, and he's down there, and you feed him earthworms, but you reside over him. If you're going deep into this, that is her unresolved grief down there in the basement where her husband's belongings are. Yes, it's going to come around again. Samuel's going to have a birthday, and the birthday just happens to coincide with the day he died. When that comes around, you have to deal with it. You have to go, and you have to and it knocks her over a little bit. Maybe when that grief comes, it's going to knock you over a little bit, but hey, you got to gain your footing, take power over it, and life goes on. And so Samuel, they actually celebrate his birthday for the first time, which is really cool. She was never able to even celebrate his birthday because it was so grieving to her because of the day that he died. And just like it's so cool, and he gets to be himself. Like he says, he goes, "My dad died, on the day bringing me to the hospital." Like, and then her mom and his mom Amelia finally goes, "Yes, he did." Yeah,
because CPS is back, and they're like having these talks again. They're like, "Oh, well, the house looks nicer," and this and that. And I'm like, "Oh, well, that's odd that you're just now having your first birthday." And then Amelia finally admits, she's like, "Well, his dad died in an accident taking me to the hospital to have him, and so we haven't really celebrated it, but now it's a day just for for Samuel too."
Yeah.
So he gets his own day. So she's also kind of taking the steps to admit it and work on her grief process.
Right. My question for you is the Babadook ever real, or is all of this psychological?
I think that it's all psychological for her. I don't think it's ever a physical manifestation, because every time, she tries to prove that it's real with a book or with there's roaches in here, or there's a hole in the wall or whatever, she can't prove it.
Right.
The book is burned. The cops don't ever see it. The hole's not there. CPS is there, and they're looking. So I think it's all psychological.
Yeah.
Even like at the end, like there's cracks in the wall and stuff, and the whole house is split in half. And then you fast forward to his birthday, and it's all fine. So I want to say it's all psychological. But she did throw up that black stuff. They did really, maybe it's just the metaphors of her kind of regurgitating, and really they both have bruises. Is just that she kind of like finally let it all out and had that talk, and was able to kind of work through it. So, but still a cool character.
Genius.
What did you think about that?
I think the same thing. I think it's all psychological. But when I was also like, no, this is a freaking monster movie, and that's a real monster. So it's gonna be what I want it to be. So like, I didn't know what I don't know how to take it, because I want the Babadook to be the real deal Holyfield. I don't want it to be like just her grief. So
that's true.
So you kind of get to pick. I mean, you're and that's what's cool. That's what Jennifer Kent set up for you. That's why she she made the ending ambiguous on purpose, which I think works either way. And so you get to enjoy it, and you as the viewer get to decide what this is and what this movie is. And like, again, the first time watching this, I probably didn't even put two and two together and think about the psychological aspects of this as a younger man. But on the second watch, it's very, very obvious what this is.
Fun.
Nice. All right. Thanks for watching.